Okay guys, welcome back. We're doing the Swift here, part, I lost count, part 4 I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, part 4. We're going to do our spark plugs on this one here, and we're going to have to take this one off here. We're going to get right in there. So if you're working on a gasoline engine, a petrol engine, or fuel engine, you're going to have spark plugs. They're basically ignite ignition. They're going to be inside here, so they're a little bit of a tricky one to get to. Luckily with the Swift, they're not that bad to get to. In the olden cars, they're a bit easier. I can actually show you ones on the Evo quickly, so let's look at that quickly. So here are the ones on the 4B11, so they have little bolts there, and we can actually like pull out these coils and our plug will sit there. So they're always going to be sitting at the top of the engine, but for this purposes we're just going to focus on the Suzuki Swift. But this is another style of spark plug that you might come across where it's a coil on plug, or COP. So COP, coil on plug. Goes on there, take the bolt out, pull that out, and then you can get your spark plug out of there. Okay, so for this applications, our tools are going to be a ratchet with an extension and a 10mm socket on the end. You probably don't need a fancy impact one, just the stuff I got that I work with. So we're going to loosen some of these fasteners over here. Notice how easy that comes off. I keep telling people don't do that, don't put your tools on top of the vehicle, but still do it. I just can't get myself to not do it. So that's on the one side there. We've got the one side off. Over here we have another little intake. Can I get it off by hand? Yeah, I can. It's not all that tight. So when you take a bolt off, you'll hear it like go click, 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 like that. You know you're at the end of the threads. Take it out, put it at the top. This one here's got another one over there. So this is why we have the long extension to really get in there and take a rock. So that's a bit more than that tight. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. This one to break it loose, take that off, spin by hand. I'll take that one off, which it looks like. Put it aside, and we should be able to flip this one out. Should and can are two different things. Sometimes they clip in. I don't want to. Oh, that comes off easy. Yeah, righto. So I haven't done this on the Swift before, so I'm kind of doing this completely green as we're going along, so you guys get the best idea of what's going on. So now the bolt over there. This is also tight. Get that off. Taking it out. Now we can kind of cheat a little here. Looking at it. So instead of having to take out all of that stuff and things in the clip, we can just go clip, clip, and the whole thing comes. Oh, there's another one there. Another one. She's a little tight. I'll need a shorter extension for this. See if I can get in straight. Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh. That's pretty loose. Get it in there. Get that off. And you always want to press forward on it so you don't drop it down the engine bay. That's what the long sockets are helpful for. Just looking, you want to put your finger on one side, hold the bolt on there, pull it out like that. And that's how you can get your bolt out of the thing without dropping it. And now, let you come off. There are air filter blocking, so you can take air filter out. We should have actually a vacuum line on there somewhere. I think we put a vacuum line on there. Let's have a look over here on this side. Okay, my shortcut wasn't such a very good shortcut by the looks of it. I'll come off there. I'm just going to put that to the side. Take this one off as well. Just clip in like that. I need you to go backwards. Yeah, there we go. Right. And then this whole thing comes out. Right. So yeah, that's all right. Now we'll take all this other ones away. Let's move that to the side. Now we have a cover here. This is our M15A. Get our tools over here. Is that a 10 or an 8? It looks like an 8. It's an 8, so let's get an 8. Stand by. I'm going to cheat a little and just use my 8mm impact just to get this cover off. wrench. Nothing much exciting happening, so I normally put the bolts on the side which they come off, so I remember which side they go back on. Keep them on ready to drain the engine oil, so yeah, more bolts slip off just like that, and that is surprisingly clean from what I was expecting. So this is an interesting little setup we got here. Let's look at that for a bit. So here we have two coils. And they probably fire at the same time, so this is actually a wasted spark system. So we're not going to get too much into technicality of that. Basically, you've got these little things here. They are coils. They make electrical current, and they cause the plugs to spark. And we're going to just slip this one out there, slip it out there, slip it out there, clip this one here, and one at a time we're going to take our plugs out. So that's pretty deep in there. Probably need about a 14. Let's see if I can just get you guys a better shot of that. She's way down in there. So we're gonna make a little plan to get that out. So let me get the correct tools and then we'll show you guys how we go. So normally these ones are 16s, 24s or 20s. You wouldn't really run them all that often, so it's a bit hard to get in there. So I'm using an extension. I'm using this notch chrome one because that can be on there. Impact one I've used a bit, so it's kind of like floppy. I don't want my socket to fall. You know what, actually it'll be fine. I'll be able to use that. And then just hit that there. Now when you're working on the plugs, you have like a nice lock. Lifty, loosey, righty, tighty. Now I like to just give them like a little whack like that. So that comes back from when I had a vehicle many years ago, and the damn thing was broken every second week. And the spark plugs tend to get stuck and then crack and break. So I did the whole give it a knock thing to prevent the things to come out. So we're loosening now. We're going to wait and listen for that click again. Hear that click, 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 click. And we know she's loose. So now, oh no, plug's still stuck in there. Use the coil down there, reach her up. We'll grab onto the plug and just gently busting the cords, pull her out. Just like that. So let's analyze the spark plug here, right? Put this back there so we don't forget which order they're going. It's kind of important that they're all in the correct order. Yeah, we'll get on that in a second. Okay, so just looking at this plug we pull out here, this is an NGK BK R6E. Doesn't mean anything, it's just a part number on there. But I do want you guys to look at the condition of this plug there. Notice how it's like almost like a grayish color, almost white. That is a good color you want to see. You normally want to see it like a brown, rust brown color, almost like that color there. But that's fine. You know, this is running good. It's burning relatively clean, so that's good. So it means our piston rings are good, our valve stem seals are good. If they weren't, this would be black, kind of like covered in oil. If we had a fueling issue, they would be a little bit wet, a little shiny and reflective. And we're not seeing any of that stuff. So this one's pretty good. So this tells us like on cylinder 1, they're normally numbered cylinder 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're going to be good. And that gives you a good indication. If it's like black with a bunch of white spots on it, that is basically indications of coolant burning. So you probably got a head gasket leak coming in. Then I'll describe the other ones. But yeah, so basically you're just looking, are these black covered in oil? That'll probably be your main thing. Or are they covered in almost like white sparkles, white flakes on the plug? That's an indication of coolant burning, which means you probably could have a coolant issue coming through. Very good indication to look at these to get a health check on your engine without having to tear the whole thing apart. We're going to do cylinder 2, 3, and 4 now, and then carry on from there. Okay, so we're just going to unplug these here. I've taken the fasteners out. An interesting thing here, so let's look at how our wires are running. So this is the coil that powers that one, and that is the harness, what am I saying? And that's the harness that powers that one. So you can't really swap them around. And if you look at the leads, these two is cylinder 2 and 3, and this is cylinder 1 and 4. So if you would look at your crankshaft configuration, cylinder 4 and 1 will be at the top and 2 and 3 are at the bottom. So as it would rotate, you would have this effect happening on the crank at the bottom. So our firing order is 1, 3, 4, 2. So that's cylinder 4. So cylinder 1 first ignite, then cylinder 3, then cylinder 4, then cylinder 2. But if you take it one cycle back, you'll see it fires 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4. So in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And these two fire at the same time, and these two fire at the same time. So, which means every cycle when this one fires, one is exploding, and one is just wasting a spark. There's no fuel, it's just on the other stroke up. So that spark is wasted, and that's a wasted spark system. I don't know if you've guys have come across that, but they're pretty common. You find them on most vehicles. But yeah, that's beyond the scope of this. So let's have a look here at cylinder 2 and 3. Get them out. There are plug leads. We're just going to move that to the side in a safe place. We're going to get our 16 again. 16 hex. Put on there. Ratchet on. Give it a knock. Probably not needed. I'm sure the guys that are out there that have been doing this for years will probably say, yeah, you don't need to do that. Personally, just habit. I've done it since I started breaking plugs in that CRA back in the day. But that's story for another day. So that plug is now loose. On the second one, it might help if I loosen it first. It might actually be beneficial. And yeah, take these out here. Now, very important when you're working here, you don't want anything in this area that can fall in that chamber, because if it does, it's going inside the engine, and oh, you're gonna have a bad day getting that out. You don't want that to happen. So use our coils again, gently wiggle, wiggle so the plug comes in. I'll take that one out first. There's a pretty good one running. So it hasn't been changed in a while, but also looking pretty healthy. So these plugs actually don't look too bad. You could actually like re-gap them. So gap is basically where the little electrode sitting there and a little terminal there, and that's the gap that sparks and ignites. You can actually gap them in reason, but since I just got the vehicle, I will just replace them with new ones and be done with it. Let's see if I can fish out that one. Yeah, there we go. Right. There we go, and then the same thing here. So look at this little black buildup there. That's just from taking it out. So I wouldn't really be too worried about that. Can I get focus? There we go. And you got that same coloration, clear color for this one here. So nothing to worry about there. And then cylinder 4. Oh, I'll take that out. Give it on here. Audio. That a thing. Give it a knock. Till it comes loose. Go by hand, loosen them out. That's good. Grab any coil, stick it in there, pull it out. Oh, I haven't loosened them, that's why. Looking for that click. There we go. And interesting here, so here, it's looking fine. So actually you can see that caramel color coming in there. It's kind of what you want to see. So this engine is pretty healthy. I would say for 200,000 Ks, I would say it's almost immaculate. I'm really surprised about the condition of the plugs. Obviously it hasn't been maintained for a while, but we have no sign at all of any carbon buildup or anything like that. I wonder if I've got another plug. I don't think I have another plug to show you guys what a busted one looks like. But yeah, anyway, so we're going to get our new plugs now and get them in there. Alright, so here you see a new spark plug coming on there, and then look at the coloration between the new ones and the old ones. You can clearly see the difference. So the white makes a really good indication of how well they burn. And here you can see, comparing the color how close it is to the new one, it looks like these do not have that many mileage on them, but due to this coloration here, I know they've been in there a while. Normally I want to do these every 15,000. They tend to last quite a while. I've pushed plugs up to about 50,000 kilometers, and they're still running fine. The only thing you gotta watch out for is the gap. Either the plug works or it doesn't. It's not sort of in between. If you have an issue with your plugs not firing properly, it's probably not your plugs. Then again, I have had spark plugs come out as duds just out the box. Normally I'd gap these between 0.25 millimeters, put a feeler gauge in there, close it down, but obviously it's a Swift. We're not going to be breaking any speed records yet on this. And I'm just going to grab these, inspect them. That's good. And then you want to look at this collar here, make sure it's not flattened out. I know we're using auto lights here, probably not the most, but you can see it's almost like a little bit of a tapered in there. It's a cross washer. You don't want that to be squished, because that means the plug has been used before. Inspecting here, looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Stick it in there. That's empty, that's empty. That's the last one. And inspect the plug, check it's the right one compared to the old one if you want to, and stick them in there. And good. So we're going to tighten them back up again, going from left to right. So if you wanted to do a compression check, just to double check the health of your engine, now would be a good time to do it. You leave your spark plugs out, and then you just basically crank the engine with the connector connected to the one side. Two. That's three. So I'm just hand tightening these right now. So I know that the catch threads, they're going nicely, and I'm not going to cross thread anything. One of the biggest risks you can run with this one is cross threading the head. But that's very unlikely. You probably have to mess up quite bad to do that. If you use a straight unit like this, you're not going to run into that issue. So we've hand tightened them in now. We've made sure nothing falls in the engine. Connect it on there. Yeah, we are recording, right? Got to push record. So, interesting thing here, when you're doing your plugs, hand tight, it would go about 2/3 of a turn. So let's start here, and you want to go in around about there. 2/3, no, 1/3, sorry, and then another third. That's it. NGK's got a really good indication on the boxes with this. This one does not have it, but basically it is a little picture. I don't have an NGK around here to show you guys that. Hold up, stand by. Let me get an NGK box. Okay, so here we got the NGK box. So this is the Iridium's ones. The only difference between the those are platinum ones. Well, Iridium, yeah, there we go. So the only difference between these ones and the normal ones is they last longer. So if you've got a car that's kind of like hard to get to, this is a good one. They do spark a little bit better, but at the end of the day, it sparks or it doesn't. There's no in between. And you want to also hold on to your old ones to keep them in place. Now, what I want to show you guys is this little diagram here. There you can, come on, there we go. So it says 1/16 of a turn and then half a turn. So I was way off. But basically, yeah, it's about 2/3 of a turn, just a little over half a turn. So that's what your spark plug is going to take. You'll also be able to feel, like let's say if you do this here, let's start at 12 o'clock, do a full loop around about there. You don't want to go further than that. Trying this here, a little off top, arms a bit tight, 2/3, and then a little bit more. Notice I'm only using 2 fingers. You don't want to over tighten these. So let's go here, half a turn, and then 1/16 of a turn. People always argue about which is better, metric or imperial, and everyone says, yeah, metric is better because millimeters and everything, and I'm like, all right, yes, you want it in a half inch or quarter inch. And yeah, it's just different things work for different applications. Neither one is better than the other one. Actually, no, the metric system is better. What am I saying? Yeah, anyway, carrying on. So we now have our plugs in there. And this one goes here. So this is 1 and 4. Go in there. Give it a clicky click. Get that slotted in there. There we go, right. And this is then, this one's are 2 and 3. Going in there. I probably should put it underneath this one. Hold up, let me take this up. I haven't worked on one of these ones before, so bear with me. You guys are running as I'm going along as well. Going in there, going in there. Plug goes in there, wire goes there. Connect one. This one goes along the side. You've got your lines there. Tucks in there. This one tucks on something there. Let's see. Yeah, right, so that goes there. Goes on this little plug there. Come on. Yeah, there we go, goes on that lead, and then that one goes in there. And then we will use our tiny little 10mm bolts, and we're gonna pull our coils back down. So they're all more or less similar way to do these things, but essentially you want to get to the top of the engine. They're normally held together by small little screws, and they just basically keep everything in line and keep everything in place. So we're going to put these back in and reassemble. So right back at it, grabbing back our 10, getting that in place there. Keep in mind these are coils, they're a little bit fragile, you don't want to over tighten them. And tighten them up there. So we still have to do the manual gearbox and the brakes on this, but that'll be in future videos as time allows. Because obviously, you know, I've got other projects and things I'm running on these days. My mechanic days are kind of behind me, you know. I'm not as young as I used to be. Health issues, heart issues, many issues. But we're still here, making things for the next generation. And hopefully this will help some people in the future. That's in there nicely, that's in there nicely. That's pretty good, I'm happy with that. Important, I like to clean my covers before I put them back. Because I like to look at my engine and be like, yeah, that's pretty. I'll probably do some custom work with this cover here at some stage, but not anytime soon. I would guess we want to get the ear done first, get that up and running. So we got that, and then we have our two ones on this side, 2 8mm, and the other ones on that side. So you can actually start this up now in the configuration it is now. Probably not the best idea, but if you want to check that you did everything right, now's a good time to do that as well. Keep in mind you do have open intakes, you don't want anything that can get caught in there, or flushed in there, or shot through. You want to keep that in mind. So you're going to reach over there. It's pretty hot now, it's about 32 degrees. And a little archer inside, we don't really have very good ventilation. Get that in there. That goes on there. This one goes here. That's a cover, we don't really need to do much more than that. I am actually going to do a little more than that though, because I want to make sure these little doohickeys don't come off. Just a little flinch there, there's 8mm bolts, just with your hands like that. That wasn't on there properly. Little twist, and in here, that wasn't there properly. Just a little twist like that till you got some firm pressure. They're 8mm bolts, so you're really not gonna get a lot of force down on them. And then obviously here we got our intake. Gonna slot it back in there. Getting those to the back, slot back in. Of course, now it'll slot back in easy. Get our filter back inside there. Put that in place. Goes on there. This little clip goes back on this side. And go like, oh, I'll probably go hook this in now there because it's probably hooked out. The other leg, yeah, there we go. Back in there, she clips in, and then we're just going to get our 10mm back in, bring them in by hand, getting them started. Okay, 10mm this side, one side, Okay, he's kind of getting to me a little bit now, so I'm not gonna be filming more things today. I think I've got to get out of this heat. Garage probably about 34 degrees inside here now. It's not that hot actually, but I'm kind of working pretty hard here. Get these things in line, and then this one goes on there. So this one, remember what we had to do with this one, and on the stop there, put your finger on there, and then we had to slide them into the hole. We have to go in. That's the wrong one. That's the short one. I mean the long one. And swap that one. There we go. Goes in there, and then just run around my hand. Getting that in there. This one here at the top, holding it like that. I'm gonna put the bolt in, line out the hole, just put on my little extension here, and tightening that firmly. Again, these are just mounting ones. Don't over tighten them, they're just 10 mils. Where is my other induction coil? Right here in front of me. There. This goes on the outside of that. This bolt goes there. And that is it. We are done. Okay, guys, so that's it for this one. That is our spark plugs basically fully assembled. That's nice and firm. Nice and firm. And I actually want to get a bit on that one. But yeah, that's basically our plugs installed. Ready to go on the road now. We're probably going to take her for a bit of a drive. See how she runs. We'll probably be doing more work on this next weekend as time permits. And we'll take it from there. Alright, gentlemen, that's it for changing spark plugs on how to service a vehicle. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.